What a time to be alive if you love sports, because it's heating up. MLB playoffs, college football, NFL drama, and NBA preseason. It's all right here on Wheelhaus. Good evening, everyone. I'm James Catato.
And I'm Brian Rudman. We got a great show for you tonight. It's a great day to be a Jets fan, and Gleyber Torres is only 22.
22.
Speaking of the devil, last night the Yankees defeated the Astros 7-0 in Game 1 of the ALCS. 5 of those Yankees RBIs came off the bat of 22-year-old second baseman Gleyber Torres, which makes him the youngest player in Yankees history to drive in 5 runs in a postseason game. Torres now has 2 home runs and 9 RBIs in the 2019 postseason. Torres' first RBI gave New York a 1-0 lead, and his 2-run, 2-out single gave the Yankees a commanding 5-0 lead in the 7th.
Kid's only 22 if you didn't know. Torres would be in the lineup in Game 2 for tonight, but the Bombers would be without Giancarlo Stanton if he wasn't. Stanton suffered a strained right quad in his first at-bat last night, but did remain in the game, hitting a solo home run when it mattered and eventually being taken out and replaced by Cameron Maybin as a defensive substitution. Yankees manager Aaron Boone says that Stanton will be available to pinch hit tonight if needed. And the Yankees need all the offensive firepower they could get against Astros stud Justin Verlander. Game 2 features a matchup of Verlander and Yankees pitcher James Paxton. The Astros are currently tied with the Yankees 2 apiece at the bottom of the 6th.
And moving now to football, Tom Brady continued to mark up the record books as he passed Peyton Manning to become second on the all-time passing yardage list. Brady completed a 19-yard throw to Sony Michel to pass Manning's 71,940-yard mark. Following his 334-yard performance against the New York Giants on Thursday night, the 42-year-old now has 72,257 yards on his career. Brady now only trails Drew Brees for the all-time record, who currently has 74,845 career yards with the potential to grow.
And from one relatively handsome AFC East quarterback to another, Jets game caller Sam Darnold put on the green and white for the first time since Week 1 when he hit the sidelines with mono. It was something that Jets fans were longing for, as the injury of backup Trevor Siemian and inexperience of backup Luke Falk left them hoping for the earliest return possible for their second-year QB. And today, they got their wish against the Dallas Cowboys. Jets looking for their first win at home since October 14th, 2018. Late in the first quarter, it started off pretty well for them. Le'Veon Bell rumbling, bumbling, stumbling into the end zone for 6 past that tough Cowboys D-line. Second quarter action, Jets fans want a big play from their QB. Actually, call him America's QB, because Uncle Sam, I want you. Darnold over the middle to Robbie Anderson, 92 yards for the score. Great sign for Gang Green, 14-3. Second half, a little rocky for the Jets, though. In the red zone, Sam Darnold drops back, throws the pick. Jordan Lewis, this was a great opportunity for the Cowboys to go the other way, make this a one-possession game, and they did just that. Fourth quarter action, Ezekiel Elliott gets the handoff from Dak Prescott, runs it in for the TD. I can see the memes on social media right now. Jets blow another big lead, and it was certainly trending in that direction. Next drive for the Cowboys, 45 seconds left. Prescott calls his own number, runs it into the end zone, 2-point game. Hashtag fire Adam Gase. Not so fast. Cowboys going for the 2-point conversion attempt. Jamal Adams makes him a little uncomfortable, gets in there. Dak not being able to make the throw. Cowboys need the onside kick, and they go for it. Demaryius Thomas, though, making Jets fans sweat, bobbles the ball, but he does end up recovering the kick. The Jets, would only score 3 in the second half. It'd be all they need, though, to get their first win, 24-21.
What a game at MetLife, and as it stands right now, the NFC East is currently the worst division in the conference. The strongest team of the grouping was the Cowboys, but after the loss today to the Jets, they sit even with the Eagles at 3-3. As a whole, the conference has only won 40% of their matchups this season. The only team who won today was the Redskins, who came out as the victors of the Tank Bowl against Miami. The only division worse than the NFC East? The AFC North.
Not a great day if you're in the AFC
No.
North. Penn State's football team wore shirts to stand in solidarity with safety Jonathan Sutherland. The shirt said, quote, chains, tattoos, dreads, and we are Penn State. End quote. But the team personnel confiscated the shirts. In a statement, the school said they asked the players to remove the shirts out of an abundance of caution for NCAA compliance. This comes after Sutherland receives a letter from an alumni calling his dreadlocks disgusting. In response to the letter, head coach James Franklin called him the ultimate example of what the program is all about.
And now we're going to move to that Penn State-Iowa game. Penn State invading Iowa in a matchup of top 25 teams. Big implications in the Big Ten and the college football playoff. will start in the first. Iowa ball. It's going to be Nate Stanley finding his man Sargent, and he's going to make a few men miss. Gets inside the 20. Now in the second, it's going to be Iowa's kicker, Keith Duncan, knocking in the 47-yard field goal.
Actually made the field goal better than some NFL kickers.
Very true, but it's Penn State's turn now. Sean Clifford going to find his man, KJ Hamler, and look, he's going to go up and over into the end zone.
Air Hamler, oh my goodness, look at the slow motion replay there.
Goes up, big play for Penn State, but it was Iowa's turn next. Nate Stanley going to get the ball, drop back, pumps. Now he's going to lob one up to his man Smith Marset. Down the field, gets dragged down at the 4. It would set up this 24-yard field goal right before the half, and we're going to head into halftime. But now it's Iowa ball, and they're going to have the opportunity to extend the lead. But no, a fumble.
All over him. Oh, my God.
Time for the dog pile.
Beautiful.
Penn State sets up the kick, 33-yard field goal by Jake Pinniger. Gonna extend that, gonna make that Penn State lead. Now it's Iowa's turn. Stanley dropping back, hit as he throws, weak throw, and it's gonna get picked off by Brisker. Now it's Iowa's turn, Penn State's turn, excuse me. Little pitch to Noah Kane into the end zone for the 5-yard run.
Very solid game overall between a couple of powerhouses.
17-12 Penn State win. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, Lamar Jackson continues to set the NFL on fire and a Saturday full of upsets. All this and more coming up after the break. You're watching Wheelhaus on WTOP 10. Welcome back to Wheelhaus. One of the biggest rivalries came to Texas in college football yesterday as it was the Red River rivalry. Texas versus Oklahoma dates all the way back to 1900, with Texas leading the series. This year, both teams started the game off with unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Heisman frontrunner Jalen Hurts leads the high-flying Sooners into Texas. See the extracurriculars going on the field before the game. That's what led to those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Oklahoma on the board first at 7-0. Jalen Hurts trying to lead his team to extend that lead, rolling right, nowhere to go. Tried to throw one into the end zone, and it's picked off by Brandon Jones in the end zone. Texas ball. Now just before the half, 10-0 Oklahoma. Horns up in the kicking game as Cameron Dicker knocking through the 49-yarder to cut that lead to 7. Now in the second half, Texas wasn't done. It's going to be Rashawn Johnson, the former QB, converted to running back, breaking through, finds that hole, and he's going to be down all the way to the 4, sets up that Texas touchdown to tie. But now it's Oklahoma's turn. A little trickery here from the Sooners. Flea flicker, Jalen Hurts finds his man, CeeDee Lamb, all the way, going to make some moves, goes through an arm tackle, turns on the Jets, gets into the end zone. Boomers, Sooner, Oklahoma in the lead. That entire fan section is hyped. Horns down, say Oklahoma, and they weren't done yet. Guess what? Yet again, Jalen Hurts gonna find his man, and I feel like a broken record saying his name all the time. CeeDee Lamb going through some more tackles into the end zone, extends that Oklahoma lead. That would be all they needed as they're going to win this one 34-27. Horns down for Texas. Oklahoma wins the Red River rivalry here in Texas.
And moving on from the gridiron to the diamond, in the first 2 games of the NLCS, the Washington Nationals were not worried about making their first CS appearance in franchise history. Starting game 1 for the Nationals, Anibal Sanchez was lights out through 7 2/3, holding the Cardinals literally hitless, winning the game 1 2-0. And then Max Scherzer picked up exactly where they left off, as he also held the Cardinals hitless for 5 innings as well. With their pitching being this dominant so deep into the postseason, the Nationals have shown that they are clear-cut World Series contenders.
The Angels' Director of Communications, Eric Kay, told the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency that he provided oxycodone to Tyler Skaggs, who passed away this past July due to a drug overdose. Kay told investigators he gave Skaggs 3 oxycodone pills a day or 2 before leaving for the Texas road trip where Skaggs died. Despite this, Kay does not believe these were the pills that Skaggs took on the day he died, as he would typically take the pills immediately after receiving them. While reports have been released that say that the Angels knew of Skaggs' addiction, Angels spokeswoman Mary Garvey told Outside the Line that the team had no prior knowledge of his addiction.
And Lamar Jackson makes his history today as the Ravens beat up on the winless Bengals by a score of 23-17. But he became the first player in the Super Bowl era to throw for at least 200 yards and rush for 150 in a regular season game. Lamar finished the game with 236 yards passed and 152 rushing. Jackson fell 14 yards short of reaching the most yards rushed by a QB in a single game, which is held by Mike Vick with 164. Now Louisville, hoping to follow in the footsteps of their former Cardinal QB and get a big win over 19th ranked Wake Forest. And they would start this one off pretty hot, 21 points in the first quarter. And the last TD coming from this man, Hassan Hall, has got rockets in his shoes. He's the fastest Hassan I've ever seen. Well, it's not saying much considering his competition is Hassan Whiteside. Nobody on Wake Forest is going to catch him. Hashtag to the house for Louisville. And again, Louisville would not be done there, and neither would Hall, as Hall gets the handoff as he takes it to the end zone to extend the Louisville lead. And if you came for offense, well, offense, that's going to be what you get. Evan Connolly, the freshman from Marietta, Georgia, drops back into the pocket and airs it out to Dez Fitzpatrick, looking like Dez Bryant a little bit, and he was pretty dynamite on the day, 125 yards, two TDs on the day for the whiteout. But Wake would respond. Sam Hartman passes to Jack Fruenthal. Jack Fruenthal, name so cool, you got to say it twice. He pushes his way into the end zone to cut the deficit to 3, but Louisville would hang on. Connolly fools the defense, says, ah ha ha, see you later, as he takes it himself on the read option to the house. Wake would score again, but the Cardinals hang on to get the 62-59 win.
Now from one upset to another, Gamecocks visiting Georgia pick it up in the first. South Carolina's Gamecocks wideout Brian Edwards finds the space into the end zone, give the Gamecocks that early lead, but the Dogs wouldn't go down without a fight. DeAndre Swift powering his way into the end zone. Back for Georgia, they're right back in it, but that wouldn't last long for the Bulldogs, as now it's Jake Fromm under pressure off his back foot, gonna get picked off by McComu. Pick 6, he's going to make a house call all the way into the end zone for South Carolina, and number 3 is in trouble at home. Now it's Jake Fromm going to look to pass, and it's going to be showing off the footwork in the back of the end zone is Robertson. Touchdown, Georgia. They are now tied. Now headed into overtime now, 2 seconds left in regulation. A little fumble. It's going to be recovered by South Carolina. Going to try and take it back a little bit, but no, nothing going. We're going to head into overtime. Double overtime now. South Carolina going to kick the field goal to make it a 3-point lead, and Georgia's going to get their chance next. Here comes the kick. Snap is good. Going wide left. Down goes number 3, Georgia. Big shakeup in college football.
Crazy game, Brian. In basketball news, it's Taco Tuesday. That's not Tuesday. Actually, the Boston Celtics signed UFC standout. No, literally. He stands out because in any room, he's 7'7". Taco Fall to a 2-way contract. It's reported that he'll spend the majority of the season with the G League affiliate Maine Red Claws, but there is an opportunity within that deal that the big man could spend up to 45 days on the Celtics bench. When asked about the deal, Fall said, quote, "It's another opportunity to keep proving myself. I've worked really hard to get to this point. I'm really fortunate to be in this position, and I'm going to keep fighting to show I can play in the NBA and keep getting better," end quote.
We are going to take a quick break.
Coming up, we've got news from around the world. Our international block is coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Wheelhaus. This past week, history was made in Vienna, Austria. The first sub-2-hour marathon was ran by Eliud Kipchoge, who crossed the line at 1 hour 59 minutes. And it was a big moment for his fellow countrymen and women as they watched on from viewing parties in Kenya. However, since Kipchoge ran a slightly different path, the officials will not count this as a world record. He still owns the current world record for fastest marathon at 2 hours and 1 minute.
Moving on to the Rugby World Cup, Japan, who was scheduled to be the host of the 2-game matches, has been preemptively canceled after the devastating storm of Typhoon Hagibis finished its course through Japan this morning, which caused severe flooding in the area. Despite this, a match between Japan and Scotland did go on, securing Japan's place in the quarterfinals. However, the matches between England and France and another between New Zealand and Italy are each awarded 2 points from this cancellation. Our hearts go out to the millions in Japan affected by this storm.
Now going to head to Great Britain as it's football in London. First play of the game, Jameis Winston throws the pick. Not a good omen for the Bucs. Jameis Winston really struggled today, and we'll see that later on in the highlight. Moving on as it's now 10-0 Carolina, and it's going to be Jameis Winston handing off to Ronald Jones II. He's got something to say about it, powers his way into the end zone, cuts down that Carolina lead. But now it's Kyle Allen's turn. He's going to look, dumps it off to Christian McCaffrey, who's going to say, sit down to that defender. He's going to break three, gets into the end zone, extends that Carolina lead. Now it's Winston back at it again with the pick. Luke Kuechly comes up with it. He's going to run this one all the way back inside the 10, setting up the Panthers, and their offense is going to go to work. Little jet sweep, Curtis Samuel, and he has the speed. He's going to get into the end zone, extending that Carolina lead. They're pumped up, and he was not done. Curtis Samuel had himself a great day. And here we go again. Jameis Winston not happy, but here we go again with Kyle Allen in the red zone now. Play action, just going to throw one up, and are you kidding me? Curtis Samuel with that one-handed catch goes into the end zone. He's hyped up. So are the rest of the Panthers. And now it's Jameis Winston's turn to try and make up for one, but it's picked off again. His 5th interception on the game. He really struggled. Panthers win 37-26 in London.
Quick update for the NFC South picture. The Carolina Panthers defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like you said, 37-26. And with that win, the Panthers moved to 4-2 on the year, with Kyle Allen still having an undefeated record as the Panthers' new quarterback, and Cam Newton still out with that foot injury. With the Falcons and Buccaneers losing ground in the NFC South picture, it seemed like the Saints were going to run away with the crown, but the Panthers are now rising in the standings. They just are one game out of first place. When we come back, don't go anywhere, because we have some of the best highlights in the nation. It's time for our top 10 plays after the break.
Welcome back to Wheelhaus. As we wrap up the weekend, let's take a look at the best plays around the sports universe.
Oh, I'm hype.
Time for top 10. Start off number 10 and start off early on a Sunday 1 o'clock game. A little kick return. Brandon Wilson for the Bengals. Just going to burst through the middle, turns on the Jets, just outruns the kicker, really.
Bright spot of the Bengals season.
All the way. Gets the crowd silenced early. Ravens would go on to win that one 23-17.
Number 9, Penn State. And we got the QB dropping back into the pocket, finding KJ Hamler. And he goes around here, and watch this. KJ Hamler lays the KJ Hammer, the hurdle touchdown over the defenders. You saw it earlier in the show. We had to replay it. Beautiful game there, and they beat Iowa 17-12. Great game.
Number 8, time for a little preseason basketball. And James, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but Zion Williamson?
I don't know. Yeah,
have you heard of him? Number 1 overall pick. Put back dunk off his own miss.
Oh, my Lord.
Showing out, the number 1 overall pick, really showing out in the preseason. Pelicans teammates are hyped. Really bright spot in the future of New Orleans.
I'll trade you a dunk for a dunk. Zion, how about this one? Shaqtin' a fool? Not today. Lakers playing the Brooklyn Nets in Shenzhen, China. JaVale McGee into the lane. A little spin move, a little fake. Oh my God, he lays the one-handed hammer. The Lakers would lose this one 91-77, but not without McGee absolutely posterizing Ed Davis.
Time for number 6. Back to London we go, Panthers, and this play's so nice. We had to see it twice, James. Christian McCaffrey sitting him down all the way into the end zone. He's had a great season. Panthers win 37-26. What a play. You got to look at it again.
From one fantasy monster to another, Deshaun Watson drops back into the pocket for the Texans, tries to find it into the end zone, gets picked off by Charvarius Ward. Look at that interception. Oh my goodness, the Chiefs had a ton of momentum after that one. You see the one-handed snag. The Chiefs actually will get you the final score at the top play.
Moving now to number 4, as it's the ALCS in Houston. You got a problem. His name is Aaron Judge in right field. What a snag. And then the cannon to first base doubles up. Bregman. All rise for Aaron Judge in the playoffs.
The Judge lays the gavel down. It's decision day for him. Number 3, Emory Jones drops back in the pocket for Florida. They're playing LSU. Little jump throw. Derek Jeter finds Lamico Perrine. The 50-50 catch for the touchdown. Beautiful play by Perrine. And Florida would lose to LSU 42-28, but it wasn't without the beautiful connection from Jones and Perrine. Great play.
Great play in Death Valley. Now number 2, we're headed back out to Texas for a play from the Red River Showdown, and we've already seen it. But flea flicker getting tricky. CeeDee Lamb, he had himself a day, and you can tell he wanted to get that bounce back and get revenge for last year's loss in this showdown. Makes men miss into the end zone, and guess what? He wasn't done yet again. Jalen Hurts play action. All you got to do is throw it up to man CeeDee Lamb. When you got a receiver like that, makes a miss, tiptoes around the sideline, gets into the end zone. Oklahoma 34-27.
We teased it at number 5. The game is here. Chiefs, Texans. Patty Mahomes drops back into the pocket. And look at this. Tyreek Hill, his first game back. Mahomes, the deep ball. What do you expect? Tyreek Hill goes over the defender, muscles his way into the end zone. Oh my God. Let's watch it again. Literally climbs over. That's the definition of getting mossed. And the Texans, oh my God. Texans walk away with a 31-24 win over the Chiefs. The Chiefs' second straight loss. It's a time to worry if you're the Chiefs. I don't know, but that's a beautiful play from Tyreek Hill.
Absolutely. That was a bright spot in a tough day for the Chiefs.
And then we got a couple more things here to touch upon. Simone Biles and you know a couple of key parts in women's sports here. It was a great moment for women's sports.
Absolutely, no doubt. And you know, you talk about Simone Biles had herself a great weekend. We're going to get back to this after the break. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. And welcome back to Wheelhaus. Simone Biles has yet again proved that she is one of the greatest athletes of all time. Earlier today, Biles wrote her name in the record books by earning her 24th world medal following her gold in the balance beam. The 22-year-old has established herself as the greatest to ever do it following her performance at the World Gymnastic Championships in Germany, earning 5 gold medals overall.
Brian, that wasn't the only piece of historic news coming out of women's sports. The Washington Mystics beat the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA winner-takes-all Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. Even after trailing by as many as 9 points in the third quarter, the Mystics staged an improbable comeback behind the excellence of forward Elena Delle Donne, who dropped 21 points and 9 rebounds. That feat alone is pretty impressive, but Delle Donne played 37 minutes in the pivotal Game 5 with, get this, 3 herniated discs. Wow. A truly incredible accomplishment. Brian, between Biles and Delle Donne, why isn't the media paying much attention to this?
You know, there's really no good answer to this. These women and these are athletes that are making history in their respective sports, and there's really no reason that the media isn't covering them. They should get the credit that they deserve.
Well, we saw The Jump covering Delle Donne, talking about how it was an absolutely inspirational story, and then obviously Biles, a great story. For James Catato, Brian Rudman, tune in next week as Mike Brown and Bo Drake Dees tackle Wheelhaus. Tune in next Sunday.